Going on, Jerome's? Your Minnesota Vikings have had a bit of a carousel, a bit of a gong show at the quarterback position after Kirk Cousins popped his Achilles on the garbage-ass Packers' garbage-ass grass, but I digress. We had the passionate moment, then Mullens mania for 2 seconds, and Jaren Hall was also there before he got concussed. But the Vikings, they need to make a decision for the final 2 games of the year. And yes, the whole thing about like, well, the Vikings can move up into the top 10 if they lose out. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, man. Plus, again, what are you saying? Saying that you want the Vikings to lose at home, Sunday Night Football, national television, against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers and put up with all of that, and then lose against the Lions Week 18 when the Vikings could have the playoff hopes alive and could certainly piss in the Lions' cornflakes as the Lions potentially could get the 1 seed. You're telling me you want that to happen so the Vikings move up from what, pick 15 to 13? And before we get the super condescending, well, I want us to win a Super Bowl. Everyone wants the Vikings to win a Super Bowl, man. That's the whole thing. But again, there's no direct again, if there was a direct correlation where, hey, you were guaranteed to win a Super Bowl if you lose to the Packers and Lions, yes, sign me up. But you're not, so why? No. Again, just trying to outsmart the room. You play to win the game. And the fact that the Vikings still have breath in their lungs in terms of making the playoffs. And, yes, the Vikings are just going to lose in the playoffs. So, and whatever. But, yeah, the Vikings still definitely have a shot and a long way of getting to. They need to start the Mormon Missile. They need to start rookie Jaren Hall, the pride of BYU, the guy who made Puka Nacua back at Brigham Young. He needs to start against the Packers and start the rest of the season, including the playoffs. And according to Pro Football Talk Mike Florio, that's not a thermos, the Vikings will take a long look at whether to bench Nick Mullens and play Jaren Hall. Now, I understand. A lot of people are going to the Vikings see Jaren Hall practice every day, so if they're not starting him, there must be a reason. He must be a Garbaggio. Now, this is not a Zimmer, hey, how come you don't start Kellen Mond? Because I see him every day situation. That ain't it. Because for a couple reasons. Number one, Jaren Hall did start against the Falcons after Kirk Cousins went down. Because Jaren Hall, he was entrusted to be QB2 behind Kirk Cousins, the only quarterback on the roster at the time when Nick Mullens was on IR with a back injury. And also, Jaren Hall has been QB2 over the last 2 games, and Josh Dobbs has been the emergency third quarterback. So if anything happened to Nick Mullens or Nick Mullens sat his ass on the bench, it would have been Jaren Hall. Now, would the Vikings have done that with a guy who they absolutely don't trust, just like Zimmer and Kellen Mond? No, absolutely not. So Jaren Hall does need to be the guy the rest of the way, and a couple of reasons. Number one, Mullens and Dobbs turnovers, where the Vikings, they're perfect this year when they either win the turnover battle or at least it's even, but they're ass, thank you, when it comes to turnovers the rest of the way. And turnovers, and you could easily say that's the reason why the Vikings have gone 4 out of their last 5, and also they only scored 3 points against the Raiders. Although there wasn't really turnovers there, it was just ineptitude. But when in the 4 starts for Josh Dobbs, he's averaging 2 turnovers a game, and Nick Mullens has had 6 interceptions over the last 2, including a fistful of ones where in the Bengals game, which took away 6 to 14 points off the board before halftime. Not that we're counting. And you would think that 4 interceptions in a game that ended up being 1 score against the Lions, that's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. Even though a number of his interceptions came on 3rd down, and they're basically like punts. So, again, I digress. But Jaren Hall has been in the offense all year, so that does give him a bit of an edge over Josh Dobbs. And he does have a solid arm. He's accurate at 3 levels. He also takes care of the football. Dating back to his time at BYU, a 31-6 touchdown to interception ratio, his senior season in Provo, and also showed some promise against the Falcons, where it was mainly that second drive. And it's the whole Vince McMahon meme. Jaren Hall was special. 5 of 6 for 78, a $118.8 quarterback rating, which is good, pretty decent. Also 2 carries for 11 yards. Now, it could have been 2 carries for 12 yards, and then Daddy would have won on Jaren Hall being the first touchdown scorer at plus 2,000, but also he He's the only quarterback drafted by the current regime. Yes, 5th-round pick. Yes, whatever. But Kellen Mond, they did not draft. They did trade for Josh Dobbs, except he's not the guy for the future. And they did trade for Nick Mullens, except he's also not the future. So in terms of guys drafted as dudes who could be the future, he does need to be taken a look at because number 6, assess for the future. Now, could Jaren Hall play so good that they don't re-sign Kirk Cousins? I don't necessarily see that. Could Jaren Hall be so good that they sort of put a pause on drafting a quarterback high and not forcing it if the right guy isn't there? It's possible. Now, if the right dude is there in the 1st or 2nd round, yes, absolutely take him, no matter how good Jaren Hall looks the rest of the way. But I do think that Jaren Hall has some interesting intangibles in terms of leadership. I think that he is calm under duress. I think that he does have a great arm and is accurate, and I think that he can perform within the offense. And also, I think he'll take care of the football. So other than that, like, what do you want? What do you want? Or full conspiracy is like, hey, Kevin O'Connell wants Kirk Cousins back, and he doesn't want to start Jaren Hall because what if Jaren Hall looks really good, and what if the Vikings get in the playoffs and Jaren Hall wins a couple playoff games, and all of a sudden, woo, trying to sell the fan base on bringing Kirk back. I don't know. But mainly, again, selfishly, I do want the Vikings to start Jaren Hall because if he screws up or complains, Jaren Hall, come on, man. But the Vikings do need to see what they have in Jaren Hall, and I frankly think that two things can be accomplished at the same time. I think that the Vikings do have the best chance to win with Jaren Hall just by sheer fact that he will likely turn the ball over less than Dobbs and Nick Mullens, who are turnover machines. Let's not get it twisted. And also getting a look at him and assessing for the future. And just go from there, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Minnesota Vikings need to start Jaren Hall the rest of the season. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.